welcome to the third edition of Rutgers Prep Middle School News. I'm Harrison.
And I'm Melissa. Halloween is that special time of year when children of all ages can dress up in costumes and trick-or-treat from door to door.
Today we are focusing on our news segment, Unexplained Experiences. These next few interviews are true stories of experiences that the teachers at Rutgers Prep have had.
Often here early in the morning. Sometimes I would come in about 5:30 in the morning. And there were 3 different times when things happened that I can't explain. My classroom at that time was room 111, and I was sitting in the classroom. I think I was the first person in the building one morning. And I was just sitting there doing some work, grading some tests, and all of a sudden, across the room from me, an entire shelf full of books just flew off of the shelf about halfway across the room and landed in the middle of the floor. So I did what every other normal person would do. I ran like a crazy person out of the room and didn't come back for several hours until school started. And another time I was coming in, and that's in a time in the morning before the doors are open. So you have to come in with a key, and there's only a couple doors where you can come in with a key. So I came in with the one door, and I was walking through the upper school lounge. And so from the reception desk towards the upper school office. And as you're walking through there, on your left side is the senior lounge, which is a little bit up from, a couple steps up from the floor of the main lobby when you're walking through. And as I was walking through, I could see somebody walking right next to me, but in the senior lounge as I went through. And I turned, and there was nobody there. So I ran to my room and hid there for a couple hours, and stayed there until school started. But the one that was probably scariest for me was another morning. I walked into the building, and I think I was the only one in the building at that time, because most of the teachers that came in early knew who would come in and when they would come in, and I was in before everybody else who would normally come in. And I was walking through the upper school to the area where the freshman and sophomore lockers are. And I could hear someone on the other side of the lockers back near the classrooms doing the combination on their lock. So they're spinning the dial. And I was like, how did one of the students get into the building? It's all locked up. So I went around the corner to look at the lockers to see who it was and tell them, hey, why are you in school at 5:30 in the morning? And there was nobody there. And so then I turned around to walk to my classroom, figuring I was just hearing things or something like that. And then I heard one of the lockers behind me slam shut. And that's when I ran into my classroom, and I stayed there for a long time. I didn't come out until classes started about 8:15 that morning. I didn't want to know what was out there, but I don't believe in ghosts, but those are 3 occurrences that happened to me that I cannot explain.
So, Mrs. Klipstein, do you have any unexplained ghost experiences?
So, it's not that I never disbelieved in ghosts, it's just that I had never had an experience with one. Until 5 or 6 springs ago, I was working late in this building, and I remember it was spring because it was during lacrosse season. And I was working pretty late. I know I was the last person in the building, so I put on my backpack, I headed out the Elm Farm front door, and I started walking down the steps. And suddenly, I felt like there was a presence behind me, like a person, just sort of sneaking up, but I didn't really pay any attention. So I continued on, like going toward the flagpole, and then I felt a gentle tug on my backpack, and I turned around and I said, JJ, because I thought for sure.
Yeah, what's going on?
Not again! Go away! And I thought for sure he was messing with me, but it wasn't him. It was nobody. I didn't see anything. I wasn't afraid because it felt like it was a gentle, quiet, friendly presence. But from that day on, I believed in ghosts.
So it was the summertime, about 35 years ago, and I was working on cleaning out the classrooms in the 3rd floor of the Elm Farm. and we were moving stuff down the stairs, and I was working with two other guys. And it was about lunchtime, and at lunchtime, I took the boxes down and I put them in the truck, and I came back in and I started calling for the two guys I was working with. And I kept calling them, and they didn't answer. So I walked up to the second floor of the Elm Farm, and I called them, and I asked for them, and I didn't get any answer. So I walked up to the third floor of the Elm Farm, and I called them, and I heard voices. I heard people playing cards. And when I walked into the office, I noticed that they were playing cards, and I could listen and hear somebody say, "Give me 3 cards, give me 2 cards." And I heard those noises. And so I'm listening, and all of a sudden I heard some people who were downstairs, and those were the 2 guys I was working with, and I heard them calling me. And so I looked at the closet, and I looked down the stairs, and then I walked down the stairs because I wasn't going to open the closet door.
Those were some eerie stories. Our next segment captures various students' reactions while being told a good old-fashioned Halloween joke.
Roll the clip.
Why couldn't the skeleton cross the road?
Why?
Because it didn't have the guts.
Why didn't the skeleton cross the road?
Why?
He had no guts.
Oh.
Why couldn't the skeleton cross the road? Because he had no guts.
Oh, hi! I didn't see you there. Did you know that Joost Kuvenhoven, a Revolutionary War soldier, and his family are buried right here on campus?
That was a cool fact. Here are some final announcements. Halloween is October 31st, in case you didn't know.
The middle school movie night is on October 28th. The movie is Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio.
The 8th grade drama play is November 3rd at 2:20 p.m. The play is an abridged version of A Winter's Tale by William Shakespeare.
That's all we have today. Thanks for watching Rutgers Prep Middle School News. See you next time.